news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
It's the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom this morning is Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History. Candace, it's good to catch up with you. As always, how you been?
Good. Doing good. Busy summer as always.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, have I spoken to you since the 4th before we get too far into the nitty gritty? How was your holiday?
It was good. Low key. Just hung out at home, grilled out. It was great.
Good. Very good. Well, pretty soon after the 4th of July, you guys had a very fitting exhibit open with the baseball and softball exhibit. I've been so excited to hear about how this event went and how this exhibit's going early on.
Yeah, I mean, we had a phenomenal turnout for the exhibit. A lot of people came through. Families came through. People have really been enjoying the exhibit, including my personal favorite, but I think it's kind of the favorite of everyone at this point. So we turned a corner of the exhibit. It's an interactive, but we turned a corner of the exhibit into like a 1980s basement, complete with wood panel and, a big honking like TV, with the clicker remote. And so when you come into that part of the display, we have some artifacts on display, like a vintage Nintendo and an Atari. No vintage TV would be complete without either one of those gaming consoles. But we also, you can flip the channels and see some recorded footage from local baseball game, local softball game, and vintage commercials from the era.
Nice.
It's super cool. Like, we had a private donor opening the night before we had the public opening, and everyone was talking to me as they were coming down, and they were talking about that basement. And I said, yes, we all had that basement growing up, and it's super cool. And I was, talking about how I could just sit there and watch those vintage commercials for hours. It was great. But I mean, the whole exhibit is phenomenal. A lot of people, didn't realize that we had such a long and rich history of baseball and softball in this community, and continue to with, the powerhouses that are ISU and IWU for college ball. A lot of fun on the public opening. We had activities on the lawn. We had activities inside the building. So it was really great. We've got a lot of positive feedback from the community so far, and this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. I like it. Yeah. Give us a reminder, this is a temporary exhibit. How long is this going to be sticking around for? And then I'd love if you just share, maybe without spoiling too much about the exhibit, maybe one of your stories that you like from it.
So you got plenty of time to see this exhibit. It's going to be up for the next 5 years. So lots of time to see it. Not saying to wait till the 5th year to come and see it. I'm just here to tell you don't want to wait that long. But there's some just really great stories. Like, because I'm not like a sports person. I don't know a whole lot about sports. So learned many things. The only true baseball information I know is about Charles Old Hoss Radburn because we featured him on the cemetery walk numerous times. So that's my knowledge about baseball. But I did not know that we have 2 Hall of Fame baseball announcers from Bloomington. One of whom is still announcing. I'm terrible with names, so I need to go back and study more. But one that who's no longer with us, his name is Bill King. He is featured in that display, and just a really fascinating story about his career, and just knowing more about Bloomington Normal's place in that larger national scope. Clark Griffith was from here. He's another Hall of Fame ball player. Some people say Charles Old Hoss Radburn's a little overrated, so I got to give some homage to other, people in the exhibit. So I won't, go on and on about Old Hoss. But there's some really great women. Melinda Fisher is in there, ISU softball coach for a long time. had a big winning record. Melinda's still with us, so it's great that we have living people in this exhibit, so you can actually like engage with those people here in our community still. So I highly recommend, if you love baseball, softball, or if you just love sports in general, or you just want to know more about our local history of the region, come check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially you mentioned in those broadcasters, you're speaking my language with that one. I'm going to have to come check that out.
And that interactive, like there's an interactive where you can like imagine yourself, calling a game as well. We have it, set up like you're actually in the box, and it's pretty fun.
Well, thank you very much, Candace. I don't need to pretend. That's my job. But
Yeah.
just kidding. So as we're covering what's all been recently happening at the museum, you guys have had some walking tours already happen recently, right? And then there's still some more to come.
Yeah, so we've already had one architecture walking tour around downtown Bloomington. We've done one of our Lincoln and downtown Bloomington tours, but we still have more coming. So we have another downtown Bloomington architecture tour on August 20th. Myself and one of our fantastic volunteers will be leading groups around downtown. So you can not just learn about the architectural history of the buildings, but so you can also learn about the history, the different businesses and industry that were in downtown, some of the tragedies that happened to some of these buildings downtown. There's been an awful lot of fires in downtown Bloomington. If it wasn't for the 1900 fire, though, we wouldn't have a lot of the buildings today, and they had the most modern, up-to-date technology used in them when they were built between 1901 and 1903.
Really?
So really, thank you to having a great big downtown fire for, bringing in these different building materials that were fireproof at that time, and the different technology to make them more accessible. Elevators became more prevalent in the buildings in downtown Bloomington after the fire too. So a lot of little gems of history like that will be shared on the tour. Tickets for that tour are on sale now. You can get them at our website, makehistory.org. $15 for adults, $12 if you're a museum member, and $5 for students. That starts at 5:30 on August 20th. We also have another Lincoln in downtown Bloomington, two more tours coming up, one on August 29th and one on September 12th. Those are Saturday tours, and those will begin at 1:30. So you will join Norris Porter, who is our development director and also assistant executive director, who is one of the most knowledgeable people on Lincoln that I know, and he'll be sharing the people Lincoln knew, the people he was associated with, the places that he went in downtown Bloomington, and the people who helped him get the nomination for the presidency. Hoping for cooler temps. The one in July was a little toasty, but hopefully those afternoon tours will be a little cooler and people can learn about the places Lincoln literally walked in downtown Bloomington.
So other than maybe it being a little bit warm, what's some of the feedback that you've gotten from some of the guests who go on these tours with you?
People have really enjoyed them. They like learning the history, about these places, about the people who were engaged with them, the technology that went into the buildings. Because I'll give her Lincoln. Everybody knows Lincoln, land of Lincoln, Illinois. A lot of people know, Springfield is where he lived, but they don't know about his happenings and his, the things he was involved with in other communities in central Illinois. Bloomington was probably the place he spent the most time outside of his home in Springfield than anywhere else, before he became president. He spent a lot of time here, coming twice a year because he traveled the 8th Judicial Circuit as a lawyer. And so when he came here, he stayed with people like David Davis and Jesse Fell. He used law offices of lawyers all throughout downtown Bloomington as his law office while he was here. And then the building that I'm sitting in, the 4th McLean County Courthouse, is right there on the footprint of that Lincoln era courthouse. When you come in our building, we have a marker embedded in the concrete that denotes the boundary of that Lincoln era courthouse. So it's almost like you're kind of stepping back in time when you cross that boundary. because you really are walking in the footsteps of Lincoln. I mean, you dig down far enough in the streets of Bloomington, and they've been doing that this year because of all the downtown construction. You find that layer of bricks, and then further down, you find the dirt that would have been the streets,
Yeah.
that Lincoln would have walked on. So it's really cool to think about, here I am right in the center of downtown Bloomington, and Lincoln was just hanging out, doing his law thing, engaging with the people that were in the buildings all around this building. So it's pretty cool to be surrounded by that much history. And that's what people learn by going on these walking tours, is that they're surrounded by history. You just don't see it. You see a brick building and you're like, that's a cool building.
Mm-hmm.
But Bias's drugstore was in the Gresham building across the street, and then the Gresham building came down in another fire in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, I have memories of that place, but they don't think about it in that sense. So a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I look at the clock, Candace. It's about time for us to take a break. Any other things on those tours coming up you wanted to throw out there?
Just go to our website, mchistory.org. You can find all the details on those tours and more coming soon. Tickets are on sale for most of them right through our website.
More to come with Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans slightly higher, wheat double-digit lower. September corn down 2 3/4, 443. December corn down 2 1/4, 466 1/4. March corn down 2 1/2, 482. August beans up 1 1/2, 1178 3/4. September beans up 1 3/4, 1174. November beans up 2 1/2, 1191 1/4. September Chicago wheat is down 23 3/4, 639 3/4. September KC wheat down 23 1/4, 707 1/2. August bean meal down $1.50, 312.60. August bean oil down $1.34, 67.01. Livestock trade, August feeders up $1.02, 347.50. August live cattle up 75 cents, 231.97. August lean hogs up 47 cents, 98.90. Energy markets, September Brent crude oil up 92 cents, 89.95. RFD Radio Network.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton, talking about continuing to serve the community through new ownership.
Things came together and we reached an agreement to purchase. And as you mentioned, we closed August the 1st. So as August the 1st, Miller Media Group is now Hart Media Group. Mm-hmm. And we're continuing to serve the people of Clinton and DeWitt County and Monticello and Bloomington and Decatur and everywhere, because we'll just keep connecting people as we've been doing.
The Hart Media Group looks forward to continuing to serve the community for years to come.
From pickups to family vehicles, trust the experts at Walker Tire in Clinton, featuring quality Yokohama tires for dependable performance. We're here to help you find the right tire for every vehicle and every budget. Learn more by clicking our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
Longview Community Bank is now open in Clinton, investing in rural Illinois. I'm Vice President Nate Sams. Stop by for a visit or to find out how we provide real local banking. Click our banner ad at the top of the local news page on DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
It's the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. We continue with my guest on the Zoom, Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History. And Candace, something I love about those walking and bus tours that we were just talking about is that it's an opportunity to go learn outside the museum. And you guys are offering another one of those with an exhibit that's going to be traveling around the area.
Yeah, so we're partnering with Bloomington Public Library and looking for Lincoln to bring a new traveling exhibit called Journey to Freedom, Illinois Underground Railroad. A lot of people, when they think Underground Railroad, they think, the Southern United States moving north. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what, picture Harriet Tubman, moving enslaved people who were seeking freedom north. But it doesn't just stop once people get north. They have to continue moving through the area to get to safety because, the Fugitive Slave Act at that time, tried to make Northerners return enslaved people.
Mhm.
So there was a whole network throughout northern states to try and get Black individuals who were enslaved further to freedom. And so September 3rd through November 30th, Bloomington Public Library will be hosting the exhibit.
Mhm.
And we'll be partnering with them on a series of programs, including a program about McLean County's connection to the Underground Railroad, because a lot of people, there's a lot of myths out there. I'm going to dispel the biggest myth of them all.
Okay.
There's a house in Towanda, Illinois called Duncan Manor.
Mhm.
Duncan Manor is not on the Underground Railroad.
All right.
People think it was on the Underground Railroad because there's this door and this underground, area. No. And I'll tell you what, the manor didn't exist when the Civil War happened. That's your big clue right there.
There you go. Yeah.
Big clue. But the communities of Pleasant Hill and also, the names escape, Mount Hope, Mount Hope and Pleasant Hill in McLean County definitely had people living there who helped enslaved people get further north to Canada and beyond. And so we're going to share the story of Illinois' connection to the Underground Railroad and also McLean County's connection as well.
Yeah. Very cool. It's so interesting. I recently did an interview with the director of the DeWitt County Museum, and they're also hosting an event coming up about freedom seekers and all that. And it's so interesting to kind of connect those dots of, people in Clinton and in DeWitt County continuing north into McLean County and then going on from there. And that really adds to the big picture of it all, right?
It does. It does. It just, a lot of times in history, it's made to sound like it's somewhere not happening.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. Like you hear about World War II and the Great Depression, and there are these big monolithic things, big monolithic events, but it impacted people just like you and me. My family, lived through the Great Depression. My grandparents did, and they talk about their experience. How they had to raise more food at home, and they were lucky because they were self-sufficient most of the time and nobody lost their farm, things like that. My grandfather served in World War II. He was sent over to Africa and to Italy, and so we have stories like that. So connecting people to history is one of the most important parts of what I do, and helping people not just understand it but also see it just happen around them. And so bringing this exhibit, this Underground Railroad exhibit, will help people learn that it happened right here in Illinois, where, we've been living our lives. Some of us, we've lived in Illinois our whole lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very interesting stuff, Candace. Is there anything else on the traveling exhibit before we move on?
You can find more information about that exhibit on our website, makehistory.org, including the list of programs that we have coming up as well, that will talk about different aspects of the Underground Railroad in Illinois, including the kickoff program on September 3rd with the museum's very own Bill Kemp, who will be talking about McLean County's connection to the Underground Railroad.
Very good. Very good. Well, another event series that I've been really interested in and been following along with the McLean County Museum of History is the Democracy Dialogues in honor of America 250. And just because the 4th of July is behind us does not mean that those are over. Tell us about what's coming up with that program.
Exactly. Yes. Just because July 4th is done doesn't mean we don't keep commemorating it. So we have 2 more sessions of Democracy Dialogues coming up. One on September 22nd. Will be at Heartland Community College. We're partnering with them for this one. And the event will focus on the phrase, all men are created equal. And what a loaded phrase that is. I mean, amendments to the Constitution have been passed in order to get more freedom for more people and more equality for people in those 250 years. And so Dr. Megan Leonard, Associate Professor and Associated Chair of the Department of Politics and Government at Illinois State University, will be kicking off that discussion. And then we'll break up into our small groups to talk about, what that means. What does equality mean? Who has equality? What does that mean in this day and age? I'm really looking forward to that discussion and continuing this really powerful series through, the end of the year. And we have another one coming up to cap off the program series on November 19th. And that will be the final Democracy Dialogues, which will be at the YWCA. And that one will be another loaded topic, consent of the governed, because all of us are governed. Do we always agree with our elected officials? No, we don't always agree. But what does that mean to consent to the rules and laws and regulations and the people we vote for? I mean, really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I look forward to them both.
Definitely. What's it been like so far to host this kind of open forum to have these tough conversations?
Everyone's been very civil.
Oh,
Everyone's had great
good.
discussions, because these kinds of topics are hot button.
Yeah.
It's a politically charged climate we live in, and a lot of people don't see eye to eye, but also a lot of people just don't want to engage civically with each other. And so I've been very happy with the turnout of people engaging with each other and having respectful conversations and being willing to listen to other people's perspectives. That's the other thing is we all have to be willing to open our ears and our minds and listen and not just immediately attack.
Yeah.
And I've been really excited. And a lot of great people have come to these sessions too. And I look forward to seeing more. I'm hopeful that because we're having it at Heartland during Constitution Week in September, we can get more students involved. Because I had really wanted intergenerational discussion, older people, middle-aged people, young people, because we all have different lived experiences, and that would help the discussion, help bring perspective to all the ages. I might not see something similarly as someone who's older than me or younger than me, and the vice versa is the same for all the people. So I'm hoping the next one's a little more intergenerational by getting some younger people right on campus to come participate too.
Absolutely. We are just about out of time, but you mentioned during the walking tour section about memberships, getting the discount on tickets. Are there any other, benefits to becoming a member?
Absolutely. So not only do you get a discount on ticketed events, you also get a early preview of those ticketed event sales. Members get first dibs on our programs. You get a discount in our gift shop. You get advance notice of other May activities, plus our 3 times a year magazine. Plus, you are supporting local history and helping us not only educate the public, but also preserve that history as well. So there's a lot of perks to being a member of the museum, and you can get all that information and sign up for a membership on our website, makehistory.org.
Absolutely. Again, that is Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
The Big 1520.